This episode is in partnership with Authority Magazine. Authority Magazine, a Medium publication, is devoted to sharing in-depth and interesting interviews featuring people who are authorities in business, pop culture, wellness, social impact, and tech.
Integrity, family, accountability. These are the essential building blocks that help turn young people into adults.
Those are also the goals of People Concern International, a charity that works to take vulnerable young people worldwide and help them become productive.
The group's founder is Samuel Akwo Adelowo, and he joins us today. Samuel, welcome to Believe in People.
Thank you so much, Amy.
Well, wow. Okay, where to begin? And there is a question at the end of this, just so you know. But Samuel, you are the executive director of People Concern International. It's a nonprofit organization promoting job creation for youth in West Africa. You are also passionate in promoting business investments in West Africa, especially in Nigeria, Ghana, Cameroon. You served in the Cameroon Peace Corps, and all this to say that you are on a mission to promote the power of universal love and integrity for humanity to reveal oneness. Okay, here's the question. Where does this passion come from?
Well, sometimes I don't like identities which are based too much on academics. I like identities which touch every human being. So for many years, far back as 1981, I was in a group of friends who are promoting leadership which entails for us to shine love in the world. And so that offered me opportunities to travel to Canada. I've been to Toronto, I've been to Vancouver, British Columbia, where one of the headquarters was. And presently, we have that organization based in Sunrise Ranch in Loveland, Colorado. And all is that the passion is that when you look at another human being and you see the spirit, what created us, you begin to see what brings you together. But when you think it is the externals, where you identify only from the externals and you think, or what you think you are, what you have acquired, which of course with a while will go away, because Samuel, talking to you now, what is so important is my spirit, because with time, this body will go away. And all that we identified, that we're this, we're that, will not be useful. So in a nutshell, I'm passionate that love should exist in the world. And with that love, we can share things together at ease. We can touch one another at ease, and we'll be loving to one another unconditionally.
So you're looking at another human being and you are hoping to see hope. You want to nurture hope. You want to nurture productivity. You want to instill a passion for the future. These are the sorts of things that you want to see in the younger generation, in those youths that you are counseling and hoping to help. In order for that to be successful, don't you need to have education, investment, leadership, those sorts of things? And where do you find that?
Good, Kevin. The first thing I believe in any human being is to give that person. Like in Cameroon, I really developed this passion of what you are saying now, of making the young people have things to do, because I used to belong to the civil society in Cameroon. And then, as Amy said, I served this Peace Corps far back as 2005. And I studied business myself. I studied public relations, marketing, did things from London. And I'd been a lecturer where I taught entrepreneurship. So now, with what is happening, especially what made us to form People's Concern International, sometimes there are things that happened which are not being mentioned on the mainstream media, like their crisis. So when I served the Peace Corps, we went for their small development, economic development program. We went to the rural areas. We're dealing with young people, women, and I saw a lot of potentials in them. And if you can look at, I'm happy, Kevin, you are in the news, you see a lot of young people trying to come to developed countries. Some even, unfortunately, they die on the high seas. Some are engaged in crime and so on. So, first of all, the hope is that I inspire them spiritually to say, no, you can even be in your country and you can bring up something. You can contribute to the economic growth of your country. So we do training in skills. We see about them having skills. Most of them have left universities. They don't have jobs. And we still tell them that the certificates, why I'm talking of certificates is that your certificate alone wouldn't be there to generate something for you. But when you engage in other creative things, potential things you can offer, which there is example, Amy, you saw in my website, young people, very young people who are building homes, studying electricity, solar energy installation, bricklaying, plumbing, some in small businesses like the women and so on. So with this hope, People's Concern International is saying that people who first of all know how they are related to other human beings, if they share that love, they will be able to provide things to other human beings to survive. Because it's not a pleasure that you can be in a country where, like me, I'm here with my children, I have the basics, but you see other human beings who cannot even afford the basics. I'm not a promoter of food, like just food. People should fold their hands and they're giving food and all that. But I think if people are given tools to create, which of course they are doing now, and like the education, they are supported to go to school where they come out and they can do things on their own. They'll be very creative and they will contribute to their communities and their countries.
And Samuel, so your organization is based in Texas. So I'm interested about that. And then also, where do you start? Where does your organization sort of get their foot on the ground to help youth?
Well, we're here in Texas, and that's why I have this pleasure of you inviting me and telling people that we're based in Texas, but the world today is one because of technology. It has become a global village. You can transfer funds very easily to Cameroon. You can transfer funds to Ghana. You can transfer funds to Nigeria. So we have partners, friends who I coordinate. And most of those friends, because I so much believe in integrity. I'm not saying this to convince anybody. Integrity is that you do things because if you see people like Nelson Mandela, people like Mother Teresa, Mahatma Gandhi. There are a lot of people in the world who have left impact. George Washington, who was somebody who thought about this country. The fact is that when you do what is right, the impact goes too powerfully because the universe will support you. What people call God will support you because you have left a mark. And I feel that integrity, I have all what it needs because I can afford to have a meal a day. So I don't think most of my friends who are all spiritual leaders will feel that if we help, like what is happening in Nigeria now, that over 50-something% of young people are unemployed. Could you imagine that? They don't have things, but they are creative. Could you imagine Nigeria now is second to United States when it comes to entertainment? Because the young people can perform, they can do things. So if they are given opportunities, you support People's Concern International, they will be able to contribute. Some are doing farming, some are interested to do the things I named, a lot of skills that they can be supported. Because no country has it all. We may not have, Africa may not have much of the finance, but they may have the resources to also transform basic things that they can do to support themselves economically.
How heartbreaking is it for you when you see the news video of people trying to flee, young people trying to flee. I don't know if that's the right word or not, crossing the English Channel, trying to get into Spain via Libya, Morocco, even walking through South and Central America in order to go through Mexico to get into the United States. First of all, can you sympathize with why they're doing it? And second, is it difficult for you to see?
Well, you see, Kevin, thank you that you've brought that issue of young people trying to flee their home country to advanced countries. And that's why the word people concerned international is that the concern has always been most of these people, they take advantage of the suffering of the younger generation, the youths. Because I'm not a politician, but governance, when governance is not placed where opportunities can reach people, people begin to do things which this. I know of examples where it happened to even a friend of mine, who a son of him was taken, and finally they discovered that it was not even to bring them, but to exploit them. They went into their parents, got some monies to give the people who were acting like agents of this dangerous mission. And at the end of it, the guy died. It was very sympathetic. And that's why when I went to Nigeria for seminars, spiritual seminars, and I saw these young people crying, telling me, oh, Mr. Samuel, you are in the United States. You want us not to take this risk, but can you plead to compassionate human beings? Which, of course, that's my own domain. I'm not, that's why I said that I'm not a businessman. I don't have a big company. I'm not a rich person. But can you make them understand that if they provide basics, because they have abundance. Here in the United States, I've gone to thrift shops. You see what people are throwing away. You see the waste. And then other human beings cannot afford anything. How do you think? So the People's Concern International, like you said, to stop this to any degree, because we can't stop it fully, but to any degree, can be to provide that United States, this is an opportunity. When people talk of China and other countries, it's for United States to know that we should share economic abundance. We should share love even into the basic things where people can also be trained and they have skills where they can do things for themselves and that can provide them. Because in Africa, people live like families. If, like me here in the United States, my son is here who is a medical, a mental, a psychiatric practitioner. Everything he supports me, I always make sure that I can also share with people back in Africa. It's not of their own making, not that they are lazy, not that they sleep on their bed, but they lack sometimes things that we take for granted in this country.
So, Samuel, in a world then where so many are less trusting and more fearful, how do you build trust and integrity in the work that you're doing?
Well, like anything, a friend of mine, I'll share you a little joke. He said, if you were a drunkard, you came to a place and you were drinking, and the next thing somebody will tell you, or you were a smoker, somebody will tell you that, oh, I don't have a stick of cigarette. Then they'll tell you, oh, that guy over there, he smokes. And then you can say, please, let me go to him. For over 40 years that I've been to South Africa, Ghana, Cameroon, Nigeria, Britain, those places I mentioned, I have people who too, there may be few, they may not be the people who are being put on news medias, but they are heroes because they are leaving an impact. So I identify with people like that. And the young people too that I identify, which I have pictures and seminars I've held, they trust that they can get into a new way that I am talking if they too are provided with those basic things. Because crime for young people now, I went to the prisons. In Cameroon, we had a time I visited the prison, And I was talking to young people there who were prison. And then because of the crisis, why will you take yourself now? You've been locked up because you're fighting for the. And then they told me, Mr. Samuel, what do you want to do? We are frustrated that some of us even go into drugs. I committed a crime that I didn't even know that I took some things. And I had to talk to them. I was sharing tears. I don't even want to go into that. It keeps me too emotional. And some of them now are very productive people in their communities because after that, they found something. And I told them that drugs, you may not be conscious when you took drugs, but when you have taken and you repeat and it become a compulsion, you find yourself doing things which may not be a blessing to you and may not be a blessing to your family and may not be a blessing to the world. So why do you engage in that? So I think I know people who do the same thing I'm doing, and we are collaborating for that.
I have that. You mentioned earlier that we need to educate people who don't have the chance and haven't had the good fortune to have been raised perhaps in North America or in the Western Europe or somewhere, that they need to be educated to be given a hand up. Let me ask you this, because I'm sure if I was to say to you, if we wanted to feed the whole world tomorrow, we probably could if we put our mind to it. So maybe us in the West need to be educated a little bit as well as to what our responsibility should be towards our fellow brothers and sisters.
Yes, Kevin, thank you for that too. You see, there's what we call a question that what can one man do? The one man can create the difference. And the West, I don't even blame people in the West because you who have traveled, Kevin, you've gone to other places in Africa, you saw things on the ground. There are many people who all they know about Africa is just what they see on the screens of television and papers. But I look at that, the West cannot even be able to feed developing countries. But the West can help developing countries to take advantage of what they have at home. Africa has land, abundant land. I know of a young man who is planting plantains and doing things. I encourage. I went because one time I won in Cameroon, in my own region. I won a competition for entrepreneurship for transforming plantains to plantains banana, a flour, where you can use it to make, in Africa, they have what they call like fufu powder. You can turn it, then you can use it to eat, and so on. So this young man, I told him that when I had creative hands, that you could, the first thing is that if this project was going to work, you could be supplying plantains to that project, and they'll be paying you, and you'll be able to make an income, and then the plantains will be bought to be transformed, and then packaged to be sold into the markets. So what I'm saying is, we can start by helping them do things for themselves. It's just like China came to, sorry that I'm saying this because I read broadly. When China came to Africa, it found out that they had no basic infrastructures, no roads. So they started doing something. So me, I'm an American citizen. I felt so jealous because I love America. They offered me opportunities. I traveled to this country. I served the Peace Corps. Like, why would China know that Africans need basic roads? An American wouldn't know that. So what should be happening now, especially the young people, because they are the greatest population now. If you Google, you'll see that. And they love America. If you go all around, you see the dressing, the lifestyles, it's all America. Because America is a free world. America is this is the only nation that has accepted everybody around the world. I'm talking here because I'm an American, but originally I came from Cameroon. I love America right to the core. So America too should take advantage to help. People's Concern International is begging that we here in the United States, we should take. We have a PCR who is a wife, David Sheffer, who is a white guy. I do not believe that if you are not honest, you'll be happy. Watch a lot of young people, people in the world who are not honest human beings. They will pretend to you that they are happy. They are not. But when you do the right thing, you become fulfilled. So if they support skills, we have just been supporting those young people. They are crying. It's in schools. They don't have basic tools. They don't have that. The ones who want to do farming, if they are aided that they can, given through People's Concern International, will support them with tools, farming tools, so that they can farm, they can rear animals, birds, do things. A lot of opportunities which are in Africa. So let America join People's Concern International. Compassionate people, churches, people of goodwill, join us. Let's bring blessing to come to Africa.
And Samuel, what do you hope for the youth that you work with, and are they motivated for the changes they're making or trying to make?
Oh my God, Amy, they are so happy. They look, most people that you've helped them, giving them food, like we are just saying, they will eat today and tomorrow they are hungry again. But most of the youth who have come out from schools who develop skills and they are practicing the skills, they are happy. They are helping themselves. They are helping their families. They are more happy. I tell you, go to Nigeria. In some parts, people say, you see how some young people have opened farms, planting maize. Here you call it corn. We call it corn. They've planted maize, corn. They've planted potatoes. They've planted things. And when you produce all this, you can sell. Then you are able now to making some income to buy some other basic things that you don't produce, like salt, like oil, like you're able to pay a little rent for your home. You're able to support your brother go to school. So it should be economic empowerment. Economic empowerment.
One of the things I've discovered, and you're right, I have traveled a lot with my job, and I've been to all over the world. But, one of the things that I have discovered, and you just mentioned it there, in order to help you, raise a little money in order to help your brother go to school or what have you. And that is that the families, no matter where you are in the world, always dream of creating a better life for their children. That seems to be like it's a number one concern anywhere you go in the world. I want my children to have a safe life, a better life, perhaps. Despite all of the trouble, war, violence that takes place in our world, Samuel, why do you still believe in people?
Well, I believe in people because people are the last resort. People, let me tell you, Kevin, if you have money, you don't have people. Let me tell you, you just said something which is wonderful as somebody who has traveled out. In Africa, like me, I work for some companies. When I left school, I did management. I worked for a fish company, a frozen fish company. They closed because of mismanagement, which I wouldn't go into details, because when people lack in that integrity, they run companies and they don't run them well. They do not even think that those companies should grow. So when I had money, what did I do? I sponsored my children. I told them, luckily for them, they were very intelligent. As I'm talking to you, three of my children are here based in the United States. One is a nursing practitioner for mental health. The girl is for a nursing practitioner for general children health and so on. And my son works for IT, Wilfred, and works for Citibank. Now, I have no power. I've been doing this. They even asked me, Dad, why are you so worried about this? I said, no, I should be worried about other children. You can, because in Africa, when you care for your children, they grow up, they care for you. They don't throw you around. They don't just leave you that. So every morning I wake up, I take my grandson to school. Then I sit here and building up with People's Concern International how we could generate funds and help other people. So when you help an African child, you give him education, you give him a skill, he's going to send that back to his parents. Many of them do that. I'm not going to guarantee I don't have the habits of other people, but generally, most of them, which my own children are doing to me now, without that, because when I left, the company could not pay us. Could you imagine that? So it therefore meant I was going to rot and this. But with my own children, I've been blessed that they are able to provide me the basics. So when we bless the young people, most of them bless their parents because we believe in communal living.
I love that. Community starts at home. Isn't that refreshing? Samuel, thank you so much.
Oh my God. You don't know how happy I am. I could sense, especially when I met two of you interviewing somebody who is a billionaire, but who still is compassionate, and Steve, and felt that is. And so when I contacted you, you accepted me sharing this with you. Please, let's be a blessing to one another. I will only close with one statement, which somebody told me. Most people will tell you, I will never regret in life. They will tell you everything I'm doing, I don't care, I kill people, I'm happy. But one great person told me this as something to think about. He said, the day people regret is the last day they're giving up to leave this planet. Then they will look at everything they gave significance to, and they will say, wow, so I thought that this was what my identity is. But no, but you will never regret when you touch the life of people. You will leave this planet smiling.
That's lovely.
People Concern International. Thank you so much, Samuel. That, by the way, folks, is peopleconcernint.org.
Yes.
Concern Int, I-N-T, short for international. Thanks so much for spending a half an hour with us, and best of luck. And just that smile will open any door anywhere, Samuel. So there you go.
Thank you. Thank you so much for supporting us.
Thank you, Samuel. Thank you.
Thank you so much. God bless you.
Have a nice day. Well, here's a fellow I could probably start every day with, because the joy and the positive energy that has just been flowing out of my screen for the last half hour is frankly quite addictive. And you know, he's working to help people not only in West Africa, but around the world. And he's doing it selflessly, and he's doing it with love. And I don't know if you started to count how many times he used the word love in the conversation, but he certainly has a lot of it to share.
He certainly does, Kevin, and he is a true inspiration. And I love the fact that he really alluded to the fact that community starts at home, and how refreshing is that? I know I mentioned it, but I'm just so impressed with the idea of, wouldn't it be lovely when the whole family comes together and shares what they've learned and experienced in their life, and then bring it back to the common good, the common family. How lovely is that? So if you've enjoyed and smiled through this episode of Believe in People, then we encourage you to subscribe to our podcast, and you too will be provided with a little hope each week from us and our guests. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for joining us on Believe in People.